Once upon a time, in a great castle, a prince's daughter grew up happy and contented in spite of a jealous stepmother. She was very pretty with blue eyes and long blonde hair. Her skin was delicate and fair, and so she was called Snow White. Though her stepmother was a wicked woman, she too was very beautiful, and the magic mirror told her this every day whenever she asked it.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of them all?
You are my queen.
Until it said,
Snow White is the prettiest of them all.
She must die!
The stepmother was furious and wild with jealousy began plotting to get rid of her rival. She bribed a huntsman with a rich reward to take Snow White far away and put her to death and bring her heart back in a box as proof. When they came to the fatal spot, the man's courage failed him, and he couldn't kill her. Snow White was left all alone and frightened. She walked until she came to a clearing. There stood a strange cottage with a tiny door, tiny windows, and a tiny chimney pot. Snow White pushed the door open.
I wonder who lives here.
Snow White decided to tidy the place up, hoping that the tiny people may let her stay if she cooked and cleaned for them. Meanwhile, the huntsman returned to the castle and presented the queen with the heart in the box, but it was not Snow White's. Highly pleased, the stepmother turned again to the magic mirror.
Who's the fairest of them all?
Snow White is. She's still alive.
Disguising herself as an old peasant woman, she put a poisoned apple on the tray with her others. Snow White heard the sound at the door.
Who's there?
It is me, a peasant woman selling apples.
We don't need any, thank you.
But these apples are delicious.
I'm not supposed to open the door for anyone.
But if you introduce yourself to me, I won't be a stranger.
Without a further thought, Snow White opened the door just a tiny crack to take the apple. Snow White bit into the fruit, and as she did, fell to the ground in a faint. The effect of the terrible poison left her lifeless instantaneously. Now chuckling evilly, this wicked stepmother hurried off. The evil queen was never seen again. She fell from a high ridge while running away from the scene of her crime.
I'm falling!
Meanwhile, the dwarfs came out of the mine and returned to the cottage to find Snow White lying still and lifeless, the poisoned apple by her side. They did their best to bring her around, but it was no use. Then they laid her on a bed of flowers and placed her in a crystal coffin. Then one evening they discovered a young prince admiring Snow White's lovely face through the glass. After listening to the story, the prince made a suggestion.
How beautiful.
He leaned in and gently kissed her, and when he did, as though by magic, the prince's kiss broke the spell. The prince asked Snow White to marry him, and she happily agreed. From that moment on, Snow White lived happily ever after.